Hello and welcome, I'm Tim and this is TimBatSea, and I am once again in New York. Remember, we only have one rule on the channel, that we don't directly say tugs' names, companies, or customers, as it gets me in trouble with my employer. But for the long-time viewers, you might recognize some of the stuff in this wheelhouse because this is the boat that I worked on for ages when I first started this channel. So it's kind of good to come home. I've got 2 weeks here in New York to film some stuff for you before I go back down south and get on my regular boat. But right now we're headed over to a terminal over here in IMTT that longtime viewers of the channel will definitely remember. This is one that we do quite often, and it's a cold and awful, miserable day here in New York. And certainly not the weather we had in Puerto Rico or the Gulf of Mexico for that matter. The decks are all iced up. So I'm going slowly because anytime the weather is below 27 degrees, we run the risk of icing. And it's not like we're going to ice over and flip over or anything like that. It's just that it makes things more difficult and more dangerous for the guys that are on deck. Let me turn that down a little bit. But we're coming over here to pick up this barge and bring it over to a ship that's over at MOT. Some of these names will sound familiar to you guys. I've been watching the channel for a while. But anyway, that's our barge up there. They just called and said they're ready to go. And so we're kind of taking our time getting up there. We have the tide is going to be going against the wind. So you can see the wind is coming straight at us, and we're actually going on a flood tide with the tide. This barge is partially loaded, so I got a feeling that it's going to come out of here just fine because I think that the way everything's going to work here, the wind is going to be offset by the tide. And remember, a loaded barge is more affected by the tide than a light barge is more affected by the wind. Being a partial load like this, and remember that I think the wind's blowing like 15. Oh no, it said 20, 21 right now. So, but there's so much more kinetic energy in the water than there is in the wind. So even though it's blowing 20 and we might have half a knot or a knot of current, that still has a lot of effect. So I got a feeling we're going to be fine coming out of here. All right, it looks like the take run's all set. Coming around the corner here, just taking off a little bit of speed, put the engines in. We're all stopped here, just so I'm bleeding off a little bit of speed, start giving a little bit of right wheel. That means that the rudder goes over to the starboard side and starts spinning in here. Now you can see this dolphin, this where there's a cluster here that the stern line of the barge is going to. So what I'm looking at that right now because I'm thinking to myself, when I back this thing up, in case the tide grabs me, how is the condition of that? And it doesn't, looks like that wood is what they call sacrificial timbers, and it looks kind of beat up, but that's actually pretty good. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. So my idea is I'm going to come back a little bit and just get the stern of the barge on there so that if we go there, it won't build up any energy going that way. We can just slide back. All right, so now we're lined up with a notch. The AB is out there getting the line ready. I got to remember, these 3000s don't back like the 4200s do. They have quart nozzles, and they really back well. So I got to come in here nice and slow because I keep forgetting that when you put a 4200, just clutch a stern, the whole boat kind of just stops. But that's not exactly the case over here. So I'm at an angle right here. He's making up the AB is making up the headline that will hold us in place. I'm going to leave us right here at this angle so he can put that starboard push gear up. How you doing, man? How you doing? You can see he's dressed for the weather, which I certainly am not. I don't even own that kind of clothes anymore. It's part of my plan to not have the proper gear to work in the brutal environment of the frigid Northeast in the winter. I'm supposed to be on the beach drinking drinks with umbrellas on it. All right, so now I got that one up, so I start spinning the boat around here to get that stern over the other way. And actually, you know what I'm noticing is that while I was there, if the tide was flooding as hard as I thought it would have been, then I would have, the tug would have fallen over this way, and it didn't do that naturally on its own. So that's kind of telling me that I'm not experiencing the tide that I was expecting over here. I'll bring the camera over so you guys can see this a little bit better. We recently had a video that did pretty well, and we've got a lot of new subscribers, and people are always asking me, can you show you making up and breaking down? And I'm like, well, yeah, we've only done that like 10,000 times already, but we can do it again. So right here, you can see they're putting out, this is called Amstel Blue. It's a synthetic line that's said to be stronger than steel. Okay, so we should be set. I should be all set to run the winch and tighten it up. I'm gonna remember how to do this. All right, started. I got that right. Each boat has a little different way of doing this. Years ago, people down below would do all that. All right, so now we start bringing it in. Oh, there we go. The brake on the winch was frozen. Okay, so now it's stuck on the chalk. The AB sees that. He's going to be pulling that around for me. All right. All right. The one complaint I have about these 3000s, they're great boats, but their winches, they're not really designed for towing like the 4200s are. The 4200s have just an amazing winch. That's something I don't. Slow it down and hit the acknowledge button. So what this acknowledge button does is that when the alarm panel sees a lack of oil pressure because the engine's shut down, it sounds an alarm, and we're just acknowledging that so we don't wake up the sleeping crew. All right, that should be it for a little while. I'm going to go up top. Hey, what channel are we working? 5? Okay. Woo, it's cold. I always like the guys that are commenting saying that know something about my history, and they say, Tim, you grew up in an island off the coast of Maine. How can you be cold? Well, I've been living on an island in Puerto Rico or an island in the Caribbean for long enough to not appreciate this at all. It's funny, I always hear people that live down south, and they're like, oh, I love it when it's cold. I'm like, yeah, that's why you live down south. Okay, so let me set you up here. Hopefully you guys are still hearing me. Let me check my recorder here. It says it's still recording, so good deal. I'm trying to do a better job at doing things for you, including using my Rhodes mic, which I wasn't using before. All right, so I set the engines to throttles up there, steering here. Now I need to call traffic.
This afternoon.
They're talking to somebody else, so I have to wait for them.
You got me, Joe?
Yes, sir. Stand by just a second. I'm just calling traffic, all right? Thank you. Traffic from the mighty Elk River.
Traffic, you copy on all.
Oops.
You said you were going alongside the Grande Morocco?
Oops.
That is correct. That is correct.
Roger, standing by 1-4 underway. Thank you.
There you go.
Traffic from the mighty Elk River.
Doug Pelham.
Doug Pelham, vessel traffic, stand by, break, Elk River, vessel traffic, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Hey, we're over at east of 3, made up to the partially loaded barge, double skin 27. We're 400 by 13 deep draft on the tug. We'd like to get underway, head over to Global, and go alongside the Dortmund Express. How copy? For those that don't know, traffic is VTS, Vessel Traffic Services here, is akin to what airplanes would use, ATC, the air traffic controllers. This is the Coast Guard that runs all this, and they make sure that we won't get into a problem with, tangle up with another ship or vice versa and that sort of stuff. So we check in on one channel, tell them who we are and what we're doing, then we go to another channel for our movements. And they
Elk River traffic, you copy on cap. What is your current location? And then say again the name of your barge.
Yeah, we're at east of 3, IMTT Bayonne, and it's the double skin 27.
Elk River traffic, you copy on all. So you're opposing Kimberly pulling on initial from IMTT Bayonne. They'll be outbound for the upper bay in the North River, Sarah Ann underway off Bergen Point, bound for Yonkers. Standing by on channel 1 away, cap. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so we checked in on that channel.
I don't want to bother you.
I'm going to call this guy that's right next to us. I'll show you this right over here. This guy's getting ready.
Same to you guys. Thanks.
Kimberly Poling, Elk River.
It's the Kimberly.
Hey, Cap, I'm getting ready to get underway. You want me to wait for you, or you want to wait for me?
I think we're in a race. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, go ahead. Do whatever you want, man. I worry about nothing for 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll start letting go here.
Okay, fine as kind. Okay, so he's going to go first. So what that means is I got to tell my guys on deck who are freezing. Hey, on the 27. Hey, look, that Kimberly Poling's getting underway first. So go hang out in the house or do whatever you got to do, and I'll call you when we're ready to go.
Security call. Kimberly Poling. Go lines. IMTT.
Very good.
West of 3. Be backing out. Returning eastbound. At the loaded barge bound for North River. Kimberly Poling.
Okay, so now I'm setting up my radios here. So that I have one on 13, which is what all of commercial traffic talks to locally. Bridge to bridge, they call it. And they don't mean like the traffic bridge. They mean the part that you run the boat to. And then one channel for VTS. And then one channel for my deck crew. So that's that. So look, we're going to wait for a little while. And I am going to sit here and wait as well. But I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to shut the camera off and then start it when we get ready to leave. And then hopefully show you on the other end as well. But you guys, thank you so much for coming. All right, stand by. Here we go. Well, it will seem that way, but we're not really there yet. All right. Okay, we're back. So now the guys are, you'll see the linemen here taking in the lines on the stern. You can see the other barge, tug and barge getting underway. Oh, that guy's really loud.
Alright, Mike just called and told Isaiah you need to take all them bottles back and get the 2 in his office that has the Josephine's name on it.
This is the problem that we have. We get mad. These channels are designated for maritime use, and these guys are guys that are on land using it because it's a clear channel for them, and they blow all over our channel so that our guy on deck with a little handheld can't even compete. All right, let me make a security call. Security call, Tug Elk River. Going to be backing out of IMTT east of 3. be eastbound in the Kills, bound for Global Shipside. Okay, so I'm checking. I'm driving ahead a little bit into one line, just holding us in place right here. And so that way we don't fall off the dock. They'll get everything done until that one line, and then I'll take the engine out of gear and once again try to get back on this last pad before anything really starts to happen. So that's the hope at any rate. So originally, I had it set up that I was going to work with my friends that I worked with over Thanksgiving. And there's one tug that I worked 2 weeks on with one captain that he and I have been friends for ages. Another captain that's a relatively new guy, new for me anyway. And he was great, and I had so much fun there to work over again. I set it up that I was going to work 2 more weeks, a week with each of the 2 crews. And they're en route to North Carolina right now. And so they put me on this boat. And, of course, many of you know, I'm very fond of this boat. Okay, very good. When you get that bow line in and you're all set, let me go and you're standing on that spring line. I'll go all stop and you can take that one in and we'll come out of here like a cork out of a bottle. As many of you know, I'm very fond of this boat because of the memories I've had here. And that's something that you have to do when you're in this industry, is that things change. I had been working on a 4200 for quite a while and doing wire work going up and down what we call going up and down the beach. That means going, towing offshore. And the industry had a tough thing, and a lot of companies were laying people off. And during they're tying boats up and laying them off and that sort of stuff. And that wasn't just our company; it was industry wide. And when that happened, I was concerned that would happen with me too. And fortunately, they did tie up our boat, but they moved my crew into other spots, and they moved me over to this boat, which is a 3000. And I was like, oh, God, I'm going to be bunkering in New York. Okay, I'm going all stop, take in that last line. All stop, let me know what happens up there. Okay, so he's down to his last line. The guy behind me is doing all right. I've set my rudder amidship. I'm watching to see if we're falling off or crushing into the dock, and neither really is happening that much. They've got that line in, putting 2 astern. And remember, I'm coming back just enough so I can land on that pad, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And that was the.
You're on free. You're holding inches on this pad up here.
Very good, very good. I'm going to get on this last pad, and then we'll be all good to go. This is the only thing. Okay, this one's looking like it's fine back here. All right, so I'd like to come out of here a little faster, but the guy, the Kimberly Polling's taking a little bit longer than expected, so everything's going good. So just let me know if something looks funny, whether that bow takes off towards the dock or something like that.
Roger that. I'm putting slowly on.
All right, good job. See, I'm just going slow now because he's taking a little bit longer than expected. All right.
Up and down.
Very good. We'll call it 12:30 underway. Traffic from the Elk River.
Vessel traffic.
We are Oscar Mike, and I see the Kimberly Polling, so I'm waiting. Be following him out of the Kills.
Carolina F, currently initial at RCA down. We get the Skyline heading westbound, currently approaching landing zone for ITT 3. No other immediate. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Good copy and all. Thank you. All right. Guy behind me is starting to really make some steam, so that's good. I'm backing hard on my starboard engine. And I've got my rudder hard to starboard, so I'm just clutch ahead on the port engine to start twisting the bow around. Just coming out of here real nice. Everything's working good. Now, not being on this boat for a while, here it is. I got to look for what we call the rough log, a piece of paper and a pencil, or a pen in this case. Say again, I didn't hear you. Say that again? Okay, we're good. Come, you guys did a great job. Come on in, get warm, and I'll let you know when we get to the other end. Thank you. Okay, so it's hard to hear him sometimes because sometimes some water gets in the mic, and it's so cold out right now. I think it's like 15 degrees right now. That remember, salt water freezes at 27, so any kind of moisture from your breath or anything like that, or the stuff that goes across their mouth, you know, to try to insulate them a little bit. Ask the tankerman if he's cool. If he's cool with me going starboard side too, I will. If he wants me to turn around and go port side too, I can do that too, but I'd rather go starboard side. All right. Good deal. Good deal. So I write in the rough log, 12:30 underway. All right, so we're still backing up. We're making about 1.9 backwards while we're twisting around. And the reason why we're not really going that fast is because a lot of the momentum I'm using from my astern engine is being eaten up by my head engine twisting the bow around. I see the other boat coming that's going to be that was waiting for us to get out so they could get in, so I'm trying to make a quick move so I'll stay out of his way. All right, so I'm about halfway through my turn, about 45 degrees. I'm going to stop on my astern engine. Remember that the rudder is hooked up hard starboard, and I'm going to come ahead on both engines and try to snap this thing around and get out of this guy's way. You're going to see him. I don't know if you can see him, but it's a barge with a yellow, what we call a head log there. That's the yellow part of the bow. He's coming our way, and he's going to go right where we are now, so we really want to get this thing moving and stay out of his way. And the reason is, it's easier for me to maneuver because I have a barge that's loaded. I'm not getting... Oh, you calling me? Very good, excellent. Very good, thank you. Yeah, it's easier for me because I'm not as affected by... Well, it's 24 knots of wind right now, so I'm not as affected by the wind as he is. He's light, so he doesn't have any product on right now, so I want to get out of his way because the wind is going to blow him all over. In fact, I see another one of our tugs behind him, which may be his assist tug, which I think is probably a really good idea because it's going to be very hard for him to get into this dock with the wind blowing him off, and the wind is really picking up right now. So that's that. All right, now I have the engines hooked right up here, so I'm going to start to cool them down here so the chief engineer doesn't get mad at me. Oh, Tim's back. Running my engines too hard. All right, so in order to keep this video from not being too long, I'm going to shut this off and turn it on again when we get to the other side. Okay. Some of you guys like it when I show you what we're doing here. This is New York Harbor on the chart plotter. We've come out of the kills over here, and we came... Let me bring that down a little bit more there. Came out of here, and we went up like this. We're going through this area over here, which is called the back channel. We're going to be coming down here and going along here. And the wind's going to be blowing me right onto the ship. So that's something that I got to watch out for. See this guy right here? I've made arrangements with him to see him on 2 whistles, which means a starboard to starboard. So he and I have already talked about that. So that's what the plan is. So now I got to come around the corner and keep from blowing down onto the ship. So here we go. Okay. So we're coming up to the ship. And now it's blowing, well, it's down to 24 right now, but it was blowing up to 33 just a second ago. But if you look at the flags on the bow, they're showing me that the wind is at a much better angle than I was expecting. So the wind's going to kind of help me more than it's going to hurt me. At least that's my plan. Now, if you look up at this ship, you can see what we call the rake. And the rake is where you see this, where the water is, it starts to lift up towards the stern. And that's the rake, and that's very dangerous for me because if I get underneath there, the ship won't stop me. I'll blow in underneath there, and that will just wipe everything out, and our fenders won't be able to get there. So we're doing about 6 knots, so I'm starting to take off some speed just to slow her down a little bit as we get up there. My plan, I've already talked to the tankerman, because we believe that we're going to have to. People aren't going to be standing outside waiting for us because it's so cold out right now and the wind's blowing. Elk River, go ahead.
River traffic. Yes, Sam, I have you headed for berth 72. Did you have a change in destination?
No, I'm going to Global. Maybe we got the wrong card. I'm going to this ship right here at Global, the Dortham Express.
Copy on that, Cap. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, they're good people at VTS. Say again. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I got you loud and clear. Okay, so yeah, the good people of VTS, sometimes they're human, and they may have put us in. They have this information they call on the card. Very good. And they thought I was going somewhere else, and I'm over here, so they just wanted an update. But anyway, so my plan is to get, you can see where there's the flat side of the hull there. I don't, it'd be nice to be right in the middle, but the connection for the fuel, I believe, is going to be right underneath. You can see a big white piece of steel that's not part of the containers. I believe that's where we're going to want the middle of the barge, and that will require the back end of the barge to be by that rake. So what I've talked to the tankerman about is that I want to get over and land on the flat, get the people on the barge, on the ship, get their attention. That can take anywhere from 2 minutes to 2 hours. So if they come out, and then once we put a headline up, that headline will keep the bow from falling off the ship and the stern rolling in underneath that rake. So once we do that, then we can roll back into position. And we might be able to do it before that too, but just a little more safe than sorry. So now we're doing 4 knots. I've come back to clutch, which means minimal power on both engines. We're just slowly creeping in there. Everything's looking good. I'm going to tighten up my chart plotter. I have a 6-minute line on here, so it gives me an idea. You know, the line will grow or shrink depending on the speed, and that will let me know what's happening here. You can see the flags are blowing a little bit towards the ship, so that's going to be all that wind. 26 knots now. It's just going to be helping pushing me over there just a little bit, so I think that's going to be good. It's not going to. I thought it was going to be like at 90 degrees to us and blow us right onto the ship. Not the case. And like I say, a barge that has product on it like this isn't as affected as a light barge is, but still affected nonetheless. All right, we're down to 3.
Little crane that's underneath the house. He said that's our spot.
Okay, very good. I'm probably going to land a little high, wait for people, and then fall back. That's my plan anyway.
Roger that. Your bow will be crossing their stern by another 15 feet.
Very good. All right, so I've gone all stop now. Just do 2.9 knots.
Do you want the line to fall back into?
Yeah, that would be ideal. I don't know that I don't know that. My fear is that we're going to get up here and we're not going to be able to get anybody on deck because it's so cold. So I just want to land on the flat stuff first, you know. Okay, so very good. So now we're down to 2.4 knots. I'm still in neutral. I'm starting to put my rudder hard to the port, hard left. And that's just because I want to fall in relatively flat. It looked like the bow was falling in too much. And so the only thing that's working on the rudder right now is that 2.1 knots of headway going by it. So it's not a lot of stuff. But it looks like...
He said if it'll help you, he said he could get something on this Panama chart.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. That would be great if he could do that. Okay, so if you look... See that white thing that I was talking about? That's part of the house, what we call the house.
30 wide.
30 wide. Okay, now we're falling in pretty good, so I'm going to give it a little bit of left wheel here to try to keep it from falling in too fast. And if you look underneath that white thing, you'll see a big rusty streak, and then straight ahead of that, you'll see a little hole. That's something that we call a Panama chalk. I might have to get by the Panama chalk, so we're going by it now for you, right?
Yeah, we're going by it now.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can get over there. I'll try to bring it in like this. Hang on.
He can get you a back if you want.
No, I don't want that.
Before we yoke it, the brush of this Panama chart now.
Okay, finest kind. We'll just drop in there. Okay, so now I've got it just about stopped. You can see the bow is coming over, so I'm going to put hard left wheel, and so that way I can...
15 wide, slowly creeping up.
All right. So this way I can... Now, I think we're still going too far ahead, so I thought I had taken off all the headway, but I guess not. So I look over at the ship and see... There we go. Now we're stopped. Now, since my rudder is hard to port, and they're working on the bow, I'm going to let everything fall in pretty well here. and I'm doing a right twist. So that.
He has the midship yoke too, by the way.
Oh, good. I didn't know that. All right, that makes me feel better. Thank you. Okay, so I thought we were going to get blown right over here, but I think we're in the wind shadow of the ship here. You know, the wind goes up and over the ship, so we were falling into the ship, and we're not anymore. So now I'm giving it a right twist with right wheel, so that bow should start coming over. Just taking my time getting over there. Just don't let me hit with the bow. Do we have anything on the bow? Is there any fender up there, or is it just metal to metal?
That's a little line that's hanging on the bow.
Okay, how far off are we bow to ship?
You're about 8 rods solid closing.
Very good. Okay, so I'm still 6 wide. Just slowing it down a little bit. I'll get over there. So I'm still in this right-hand twist, but what I'm doing is moving my rudder back and forth to slow down the approach, because I can't see when we're going to hit up there, and I want to get him flat, but that's easier said than done. I might even give a little bit more power just to try to get us flatter over there. All right, trying to flatten out all the time so you don't have to reach as far. So right now I've got about 15 degrees of right wheel, and now that bow's coming in, so I'm pushing it over to 15. All right. Okay, we're down to 2 feet, so now I've come hard to port, and that's slowed down. 1 foot. Very good. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a left twist so that we don't actually touch. Looks like
you can ease up your headway now. You get ready to touch up on your bow now.
All right, easing up on the headway. Do you want me to back up a little bit?
Yeah, once we get all set and make the sign off for you, so we can back up.
Okay. Okay, they're not really doing much here, so I'm going to start. Oh, there he goes. He's making a move on it now. It might look easy, but that's a tough maneuver. That tankerman's really good. That's a really heavy line. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to watch over here because I don't want to be underneath that rake. So I'm setting my rudder hard right so that if it falls in, I can come ahead and it'll drive the bow in and keep the stern off. And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Want this as a backer or forward?
Ask the tankerman. I think he wants us to come back, doesn't he?
All right, I'll have you made off as a forward. You can start punching into this.
Okay, I'm going to work into it. Coming ahead. Okay, so he says that I thought we had to back up a little bit, but sometimes it's a different perspective up here. Anyway, hopefully my battery hasn't died yet. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm down to 2% on the battery here. So, we got a lot.
I'm going to change this lead to a back, and he said we'll be good on the spot where we are.
Outstanding. All right, I'm all stopped. Let me know if you need anything. So, right in the log. 1305, first line. Now I gotta just keep watching that stern and make sure we don't go underneath. So I'm giving it a right hand twist just to keep that stern off. Okay.
All right, I got you made off. You can follow back into this, and he said we'll be all good to go.
All right, good deal. When we get these guys, I'm gonna blow the horn here to try to get the guys' attention on the ship. The first thing we're gonna want is a bow line to keep us from falling in underneath this rake. All right. All right, here comes the horn. All right, anyway, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is day 1 of 2 weeks here working in New York. Make sure I don't keep falling in there and until I get that bow line off, I have to watch over here. See, this is what I'm worried about right down there, is that this will fall in underneath. That would be very bad. Anyway, yeah, very good. Day 1 of 2 weeks working here in New York. So I know a lot of you guys love the New York content, so hopefully we should have all kinds of it for you. So, and I'm working over as a mate, so it's kind of a different perspective, meaning the mates work a different time than the captains do. So you guys get to see something you don't always see every day. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a moment, subscribe, like, comment. I get back to almost everyone's comments. I don't think I've left anybody dry. The only rule is don't say anything, don't name tugs, companies, or customers. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit the thank you button, or you can join the Patreon team. Just a couple bucks a month. Love to have you over there. The Patreon, we've been doing a lot with the Patrons lately where they get special content that I don't put out to anybody else, and they have a kind of direct access. So we'd love to see you over there if you want to support the channel. And my other channel is coming along. We'd love to have you over there. If you want to help out your old buddy Tim, and you haven't subscribed to SV Paquita, I really would appreciate it. I'm trying to build that channel. Unfortunately, Paquita, my boat is out of the water at the moment. We're getting ready for a refit in the spring. But I will still put content up there, just not as much. But anyway, that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching. All you patrons out there, you guys are the reason why the channel's still doing well, and we just hit 50,000 subscribers, so woohoo! I'm all happy about that. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you in the next.